of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Now on Prime Time, we've got the very latest on the rapid engagement team's efforts up in the Gilbaza and Zero Down parts of Jigo, and what areas they'll focus on next. Plus in the show tonight, the island marks its 67th COVID-related casualty as a 72-year-old man died at the Guam Regional Medical City. And the Department of Revenue and Taxation continues to accept online applications for the Azura E-mingaafa program.
Hafa and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. This afternoon, the Joint Information Center confirmed that Guam's 67th COVID-19 related fatality occurred at the Guam Regional Medical City at approximately 6:27 a.m. The patient was a 72-year-old male. He was admitted to GRMC on October 20th and tested positive upon admission. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero saying to those who loved him, please know that you are not alone in your mourning. On behalf of Jeff, Lieutenant Governor Josh, and our entire island, please accept our heartfelt sympathies and condolences during this most difficult time. While I pray that no more families will have to receive this painful call, I also know that we all must do what is necessary to prevent further deaths from occurring. Wearing our face mask and practicing social distancing are the best tools we have to stop the spread. And we began with the latest from the Joint Information Center. On Monday evening, a reported 81 tested positive out of 581 samples from various labs and clinics. There are currently 1,340 active cases, while more than 2,300 people have recovered. Overall, Guam's current COVID case count is at 3,756 people who have been infected with the coronavirus since March. 59 people are hospitalized at the Guam Memorial Hospital for COVID-19. 11 are receiving ICU level of care and 3 are on ventilators. At GRMC, there are 5 COVID patients there, while 4 are at Naval Hospital, Guam. 3 of those 4 are on ventilators. The latest from Public Health's Rapid Engagement Team's deployment to the Gilbaza and Zero Down subdivisions. According to DPHSS public spokesperson Janela Carrera, the team completed the mission yesterday with 36 out of 131 samples returning positive for COVID-19. In total, from all 3 days combined, 422 samples were collected, with 117 positive cases.
Expectations as far as numbers when we went into these 2 subdivisions. We did expect to see active cases. That's what happens when you do active case finding. We were hoping to get positive cases because we want to put a stop to the spread. We knew we were going to find active cases, and that's what happens when you do active case finding. Right. And of course, with these active cases, these positive numbers, the goal now is to contain it, to isolate these positive cases. That's our mission. That's the next step in this process, to put that stop and contain the positive cases, of course. We're going to see a rise in numbers, of course, but ultimately we want to decrease the numbers in the long run.
Carrera says the Rapid Engagement Team is currently debriefing and determining how to move forward by looking at other areas in need of the same urgent, immediate intervention. The airport announced 2 of its employees have tested positive for COVID. The GIAA's management and administrative offices were closed today through tomorrow for deep cleaning and will reopen on Thursday. Contact tracing has also been initiated for employees identified as close contacts with the infected staff. Airport operations will not be affected by the new cases, or were not affected by the new cases. The airport last month implemented new access procedures for the terminal, limiting it to authorized employees, essential service providers, and travelers. A DYA officer has tested positive for COVID-19. DYA Director Melanie Brennan says the officer began experiencing flu-like symptoms while off duty, and it was on Friday that they decided to get tested. The positive results came back on Saturday when the officer was supposed to report back to work. Brennan says the officer has not been to work since last week, Tuesday. Since then, DYA has instituted a shelter-in-place for residents. Physical visitations are not permitted, and they suspended all in-person programming except large muscle exercises. In addition, Brennan says that they continue to monitor the temperature and health of both incoming staff and residents. They've also increased employee and resident hand washing, disinfecting, and sanitization. Brennan adds that DYA is monitoring everyone closely for symptoms and that public health is providing guidance and the timing for testing. Parents of residents can contact 735-5033 or 35 to speak to a DYA social worker for further information. The Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority reports its first COVID positive case. GURA Director Ray Tapasna spoke this morning on The Link.
Unfortunately, we did have an employee that contracted it elsewhere and came to work Friday. My understanding, even after being cleared by a doctor. So we sent him home and had him tested, and he tested positive.
Tapasna says that all the necessary steps are being taken to ensure their facilities are thoroughly sanitized.
We started our internal contact tracing. And then yesterday morning at about 9 a.m., I believe, we had a professional outfit come in and do the deep cleaning and sanitizing of all pertinent areas at GURA. We're scheduling testing of all those who may have come into close contact starting tomorrow. And if public health isn't able to assist us, then we're just going to pay for by the lab to do that. We've identified as many as 52 who may want to get tested tomorrow. So that's where we are.
Tapasna says he plans to use GURA's COVID funds to pay for testing if needed, adding that any GURA employee who feels that they may have been in contact with the positive case will be afforded the opportunity to be tested. A total of 14 employees at the Port Authority underwent COVID testing today. As we previously reported, a press release sent out Sunday confirmed 3 more positive cases identified through the Port's contact tracing team. Out of the 14 tested today, 2 are awaiting results. 1 was rescheduled to take the test tomorrow, with the remaining 11 employees testing negative. According to Port General Manager Roy Respicio, the employees tested today will return to work under the CDC's guidelines for critical infrastructure. However, they have been instructed not to spend more than 15 minutes with anyone at the port until results return. All employees of the port are instructed to follow COVID guidelines, including wearing a mask, social distancing, and frequent hand washing. The Department of Revenue and Taxation is still accepting online applications for the Azuda E-mingaafa program. It provides $500 payments for certain dependents that may not have qualified for assistance under the federal stimulus package. DRT Director Daphne Shimizu explains the qualifying criteria.
If you fall within the $150,000 and below threshold, if you're married filing joint and you had not received an EIP because your dependent was between the ages of 17 to 23 or disabled of any age, then you know what, I suggest and recommend that you please, apply online. You could go to myguamtax.com and apply online.
The deadline to file is November 12th. A bill to establish a pandemic Bill of Rights drew some high-profile testimony during a public hearing today. The measure by Senator Luis Muña finds that the declaration of a public health emergency has led to what Muña believes is the suspension, restriction, and limitations on certain constitutional and civil rights. Among those who testified were Archbishop Michael Burns, Congressman Michael San Nicolas, and former Congressman Robert Underwood. Each expressed views about where the line should be drawn between executive power and individual freedoms. But author Luis Muña says the intent of her bill should be clear.
We have seen executive orders that attempt to rewrite the elements of the civil violation of public nuisance and the crime of criminal mischief, which may carry a felony conviction. Now, I know this bill does not address the issue of forced closures of businesses. Perhaps, maybe in the future, we can lobby for amendments to our Constitution and Organic Act that make the right to operate a business a fundamental civil right.
But the bill seeks to decriminalize quarantine violations. Under the measure, those who disobey the executive order would be subject to a civil violation instead of a criminal misdemeanor. Meanwhile, the Archbishop testified in support of the measure out of concern that the governor's order infringes on freedom of religion.
For the Christian church, Sunday's our day. And to find ourselves so grievously limited to almost not allowing anybody into the church, that's a problem for us. And at the same time, we certainly as the Catholic Church, we recognize that we have an obligation to collaborate with the state. As partners, we should be able to push back at times too. That, you know, if something's becoming a little a greater weight on us as the church, we're going to, you know, we may push back at times because that's what partners do.
The Catholic Church has made it clear that it is opposed to the limiting of parishioners inside the church during Mass. As Archbishop Burns says, they have been very careful in observing all of the safety and health protocols. Hawaii has just launched a program to put millions of dollars in cash in the hands of state residents to spend on local dining. Guam's similarly struggling restaurants could certainly benefit from such a program. And as Nestor Lecanto reports, local officials may already be working on it.
Hawaii on Saturday sent out more than 100,000 debit cards, each loaded with $500 for use in local eateries. Gwen Yamamoto Lau is the administrator of the Hawaii Restaurant Card Program.
The primary purpose of this program is to inject $75 million into our very struggling restaurant industry and the entire food supply chain. And when the state was looking at how we might deploy the funds, it could have been done in a number of ways. However, we wanted to impact and help as many people as possible. So we decided to deploy the funds through our displaced workers.
The state government set aside CARES Act money for this latest economic stimulus program, and so only those who are unemployed because of the pandemic are eligible. Meanwhile, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero said at a news conference Thursday that she was to meet soon with officials from the Chamber and the Women's Chamber about the possibility of a similar program for Guam.
There's some idea about working with the Guam Hotels and Restaurants Association to provide some grant to individuals so that it can be in a form of coupons, it can be in other forms, but definitely the concept there is to help stimulate the economy by providing some means of cash to individuals so that they can go and spend those in their various restaurants and so forth.
Sarah Guen is the owner of Pizza Press and a director of the Hawaii Restaurant Association. She says the pandemic closures have been brutal on her business.
The second shutdown, it was back again, same thing, but we got back to maybe half. And so it was pretty scary. And as far as with the support, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
You can catch the full interviews on the Hawaii Restaurant Card Program on Wednesdays in full Zoom. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Thank you, Nestor, and stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Home, a place where I can go to take this off my shoulders. Someone take me home.
Home. It's more than wood, square footage, and a floor plan. It's where life happens and moments become etched into memories. At Bank of Hawaii, we're proud to help families all across Guam buy and improve their home. Applying takes just a few moments, but the memories last a lifetime. Simplified by Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to tomorrow.
Hafa, I'm Amanda Shelton. Thank you for the honor to serve as your senator. I humbly ask for one of your votes this election to continue providing for our families, protecting our manamku, preparing our youth, preserving our environment, and promoting health and safety for our entire community. Please vote Amanda Shelton, number 6, Democrat. Thank you.
I'm Vince Beneventi and I'm voting for Joe.
My name is Elisa. Again, I'm voting for Joe.
My name is John Robert Taitano and I am voting for Joe.
I'm Marjorie Limsky. I'm voting for Joe.
I'm Dado Razon. I'm voting for Joe.
I am Deb Kenga. I am voting for Joe.
My name is John Ray Taitano and I'm voting for Joe.
My name is Jerry Labalson and I'm voting for Joe.
I'm Ellie Baldemore. I'm voting for Joe San Agustin.
Please vote Joe San Agustin for Senator. Thank you.
I'm Senator Joe Shimizu San Agustin and I approve this message.
100% truck, 100% Jeep brand. The all-new Jeep Gladiator is the most capable off-road mid-size pickup truck crafted for adventure. Equipped with best-in-class towing capacity, legendary Jeep brand 4x4 capability, and backed by Guam's only lifetime powertrain warranty. Drive home in a brand new Jeep Gladiator today, starting as low as $283 per paycheck during Jeep Adventure Days. Call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approved today.
I'm ready for Robert in this election. He is a proven leader. He's passionate about his home and the people of Guam. He can pick up where I left off and not miss opportunities to benefit our people. Beyond being a good friend of Robert and having tremendous respect for his work, I know that he will do much more to represent our people in Congress. Robert will be accessible to our people. We desperately need someone in Congress that will work in a bipartisan manner. We live in a very challenging time. He will be an ethical leader. And for these reasons, I will vote for Robert Underwood for Congress and will do whatever it takes to support him. Yes, I'm ready for Robert. Si Diyos Mase.
I'm Robert Underwood, and I approve this message.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. The Archdiocese of Agana has established a contact tracing team. According to a media release, they are currently undergoing training for certification from the University of California, San Francisco, and Johns Hopkins. Additionally, the Archdiocese has also established contact tracing protocols. The Archdiocese contact tracing protocols and contact tracing team are part of the Church's efforts to be diligent in addressing any exposures within parishes. In district court, the military has issued various citations on personnel for violating quarantine laws. According to district court filings, several individuals are accused of committing the petty offense in August. Court documents present the violation notice and original ticket and no further details. An initial appearance has been set for November 3rd in Magistrate Judge Michael Bordalio's courtroom. Congressman Michael San Nicolas will have to pay up, according to GURA Director Ray Tapasna, who says a 2017 conflict of interest case involving the then Senator Michael San Nicolas is one step closer to a resolution.
Congressman Michael San Nicolas, as well as 2 other sitting members of the legislature, will be receiving letters requiring them to pay back GURA for monies collected while they or an immediate family member acted as a landlord for the Housing Authority. GURA Director Ray Tapasna.
Elected official, if you're an individual, you cannot be a landlord for GURA. That's a prohibition via federal law, federal statute. Or you cannot have an immediate family member, whether it be a brother, sister, or mother, or father. You cannot have them be a landlord for GURA.
According to Tapasna, the agency informs elected officials to reveal any potential conflicts of interest.
Every election year, we reach out to elected officials and we notify them of this federal law, and we ask them to fully disclose if they had a potential conflict. And in this particular case, GURA was not notified.
Tapasna says that GURA's attorneys have reached out to Congressman San Nicolas, whose conflict of interest case dates back to 2017, while he was a sitting senator and a Section 8 landlord.
Our attorney actually contacted his attorney and said, hey, you shouldn't have, there was a conflict of interest that was identified in the previous administration, not under my watch. And because it's a violation of federal law, this money needs to be returned.
But Congressman San Nicolas isn't the only one who should reach for his checkbook.
There's 2 other elected officials that we're reaching out to this week as well, to say, guess what? There was a conflict that you failed to disclose, so you're going to have to pay this back, whether it be you or your sibling or whoever was the landlord.
The sum total of what GURA is owed goes well over $100,000, and Tapasna says now that they're notified of the debt, it's time to wait and see.
Approximately $84,000 with one particular conflict is owed to GURA, and then another, I believe, maybe $70,000 is on a separate conflict is owed to GURA. So, he received the letter last week, and we'll see where we go from there.
KUAM reached out to Congressman San Nicolas but received no response. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
The Guam Police Department is asking the public's help in their search for 2 men wanted for questioning in connection to 2 separate criminal cases. 40-year-old Eric Lee Cuenga Flores is a person of interest in connection to multiple retail theft complaints. He was last seen driving a dark-colored sedan, possibly a Toyota Yaris or a Nissan Sentra with tinted windows. Police also need your help in locating 20-year-old Dustin Shane Tatautau. Police want to question him about an ongoing assault, criminal sexual conduct, and unlawful restraint complaint. The public is advised not to approach either men and instead call GPD at 472-8911 or 475-86157. Additionally, you can submit a tip to GuamCrimeStoppersWeb.com. The information will remain confidential. If the tip leads to an arrest and grand jury indictment, you could receive a cash reward of up to $1,000. Over the weekend, 928 voters went out to the Okadu High campus to cast their vote in the 2020 general election. This brings the island's total vote turnout to 7,535. The GEC says the process went smoothly. They just wish that voters didn't have to wait as long. As you may recall, last week the GEC had a case of fraud voting. Since then, a 2-minute process time has been added in order for the staff to cross-check the active voter list. The last day to submit financial disclosure documents was today at 6 p.m. at the GEC. Remember, you can make arrangements to vote early with the GEC until October 30th. Their office is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you can call them at 477-9791. Shelly the sea turtle is back in the open ocean after nearly 10 months of being nursed back to health. Shelly was found floating last December 23rd off Gab Gab Beach of Naval Station in apparent distress. The beachgoers who spotted her took the turtle to the base fire station, and the Guam Department of Agriculture's Division of Aquatics and Wildlife was contacted. Since then, Shelly's been under the care of Underwater World senior aquarist Rafael Calderon. The turtle suffered from an apparent intestinal blockage, which has since been relieved. Before Shelly was released into the wild today, she was tagged for monitoring and tracking that will help determine where she goes to feed and reproduce. And coming up, we continue with our Think Pink series, Awareness is Power. You're watching KUAM.